Hey guys, welcome. Today I want to talk a little bit about emotional regulation and how Jesus modeled that behavior for us in the book of John. If you're new, my name's Chris. I have a background, struggling with toxic relationships, substance abuse, all kinds of stuff. Been incarcerated, and on this channel we just kind of talk about practical ways to really apply scripture to your daily life in a way that's meaningful when you're really in the dark places, really in the valley. And so let's dive right in. In chapter 18 of John, in verse 22, Jesus was in the temple. He's being accused, and basically he said something that was offensive to a high priest, and one of the temple guards slaps him in the face. And Jesus says to him, what have I said? Or if I've said something wrong, testify to what I've said. Otherwise, why did you strike me? Why did you hit me? And this is just such a great example of emotional regulation. And this topic is near and dear to my heart because if we can apply some emotional regulation and teach other people how to treat us and how we are going to respond to them, the dynamic changes when we engage in conflict or conflict resolution in relationships, at work, pretty much anywhere. And so this concept of someone slapping Jesus in the face for no good reason, and his response was to ask him a highly intellectual question. It doesn't say the guard hit him again. Obviously, he must have had to stop and think, and so it shut down the conflict. And that's the goal when we use emotional regulation. And the analogy that I want to use today, if this is a new topic to you, is the difference between handing somebody a remote control to your emotions versus handing them an instruction manual. The idea that we teach people how to treat us is very, very real. And so when you hand someone a remote control, they have all the buttons: anger, mad, sad, happy, anything in between, and they can just point the controller at us and then press the buttons, and then we just respond. We're like the puppet on the strings. And that's a really, really ineffective way to establish channels of communication. And so what I want you to do is I want you to shift your thinking. So instead of handing somebody the remote control so that they can press your buttons, I want you to think about handing them instead an instruction manual. And so the next time that somebody comes at you in a way that is offensive or inappropriate, or that is not a way that you would like to be spoken to, instead of reacting, I would like you to think about responding. So take back the remote control. No, you're not going to push my anger button. Instead, hand them an instruction manual. And then let them know. Look, on page 42, paragraph B, subsection 1A, you're going to find that I'm actually not going to react to that type of behavior. In fact, you're going to have to treat me this way instead to get a response from me. And you see the dynamic there. Instead of them pressing the button and you just explode, now you've stopped, you removed the emotion, you've chosen not to react, but instead you have chosen to respond. And sometimes something as simple as just taking a deep breath. Think to yourself about what you want to say and how you would like them to start speaking to you or start engaging with you instead of the way that they currently are. And then respond. This analogy has just been so powerful for me that if I can just find a few brief seconds between the offense and then my response, it becomes a response instead of a reaction. So today, my encouragement is be like Jesus. Ask a thought-provoking question, prompt somebody to stop and think about their own behavior instead of reacting and proving them right in the situation. So emotional intelligence, Jesus was the first guru. He set the example and he set the bar high. Please click subscribe if you find this helpful and check out my other videos. Have a great day, guys.